A new turn-based strategy title was announced this week called Dragonheir Silent Gods. The upcoming fantasy RPG sets to emulate the feel of a tabletop game. This new high fantasy RPG is set in the world that is besieged by an evil dragon god. Players can take out a customizable hero of their choosing to save the realms from the eternal darkness. Yes, we said realms as there will be more than one. Dragonheir will be played primarily as a mix of 4x gameplay, overworld, as well as a specific isometric battle scenes. The adventure all starts with the game's deep character customization. The game will have a hybrid real-time turn-based combat system. Players exercise control directly by issuing individual commands that pause the game momentarily. Battles can also be directly influenced by the choices you make beforehand. For example, players can choose which tools to bring in, such as weapons, spells, heroes, and others. Quests and missions will be non-linear, and the player can choose which leads to follow, making for a flexible and more open-ended experience. Pre-registration for the fantasy RPG has now begun, and you can find it on the official website. Those who do will be able to gain some special tester rewards such as heroes, items, and more if you want to check that out. For more details on this news or any news mentioned in this video, follow the link in the description below. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you Hogwarts Legacy fans who have been waiting for the game for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The release date has now been pushed to May 2023. The console versions of Hogwarts Legacy was previously supposed to arrive around April 4th, however both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players will now need to wait till May 5th. A tweet which was shared by the official Hogwarts Legacy Twitter account explained that in order to deliver the best possible experience, these versions for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One would now be releasing a month later. In order to prepare for the release of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions, you can check out our 10 things you need to know before you play. You can also check out our Hogwarts Legacy wiki for all your wizarding needs. Developer 11th Hour Games has been hard at work on their passion project Last Epoch. Although multiplayer has been a staple for the action RPG genre, the game has been purely single player since its early access launch in the middle of 2019. However, that changed this week. On March 9th, a new patch 0.9 added multiplayer to the game. Players who log in now will be able to play cooperatively with up to 3 other players. There seems to be no restrictions in terms of content, meaning you can play the entire campaign and the endgame with your buddies. In order to team up, players will need to assemble parties with their friends to partake in multiplayer, and you will only ever encounter people in your group, so you can't really find any randoms wandering around the Echoes of Terror, for example. Lastly, enemies will scale based on the number of players in your current group. Only health values will be modified with this scaling. Any loot that drops while you're in party can be freely shared with anyone in that group. While multiplayer is definitely one of the most exciting aspects of the Last Epoch's Convergence update, there has also been some other things coming in 0.9. 11th Hour Games has done overhauls to many of the game's systems, including combat, responsiveness, and engine optimization. The studio behind games such as Battletech and the Shadowrun games is working on a new turn-based RPG called the Lamplighters League and the Tower at the End of the World. The title is based on an alternate version of the 20th century and will be coming to platforms PC, Xbox Series X and S, as well as Game Pass later this year. In Paradox's announcement show, the studio revealed that the Lamplighters League, which sets out to have a mix of gameplay styles, includes turn-based combat, real-time infiltration, and team management. The game is set during the 1930s, however, an alternate version of this. The story is a pulp adventure where players will track down the banished court. The developer also previewed a few clips of combat as well as showed the real-time infiltration, which sets it apart from their previous games. This means you can assess the situation before you engage with the actual enemies. You can also plan your position or even take out lone guards before you get in there. The Lamplighters League has yet to have a pinned down release date, but it will be coming to Xbox Series and PC later this year. Diablo 4 this week got a brand new trailer and some answers to some burning questions through a Twitter AMA. Aside from that, we got a hauntingly good new unexpected live action trailer. It was quite short and didn't really have any obvious spoilers, but it's definitely worth talking about. First, let's talk about the Twitter AMA. The Diablo 4 developer team had a quick sit down on Twitter Spaces, taking about 40 minutes in this discussion. First of which, there was a confirmation for both crossplay and cross progression, so players can team up with other friends on different platforms. And as for cross progression, you will need to own the game on the platforms you wish to play on. So for example, you want to play on PC and PlayStation 5, you've got to own both copies of these. As for the upcoming beta, what happens in beta stays in beta, so you won't be able to save your beta's character's appearance, for example, as a preset. Co-op text chat and voice comms will be available for both beta weekends. A quick reminder, the first weekend will be for pre-purchases only, and then the second weekend for open beta for all. The trailer, if you haven't seen it yet, features a church ceiling painted with a Diablo 4 mural featuring Lilith and the 5 classes players will get to play. The first beta weekend kicks off next weekend on March 17th, so be prepared to greet Lilith and her minions by dropping by our Diablo 4 wiki. If that wasn't enough ARPG news for you, well, we have some more. Console players, the wait is finally over as Wolcen Lords of Mayhem is heading to new platforms this month. On March 15th, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series and Xbox One will be able to take on the dark fantasy inspired title. Don't fret PC players though, there is something for you too. Act 4 will be available to download for free on the same day. Wolcen Lords of Mayhem follows one of the 3 survivors players pick following the aftermath of Castigath. Lying in ruin, they are rescued by the Grand Inquisitor Heimlich. Recruited by the Republic's army of purifiers at a young age, trained with military skills against the supernatural. In the last act, it will test players' resolve in an exciting end to the game's main story. Players will face Ahriman, the big bad, and will have to make some difficult moral decisions. Act 4 sounds like an ultimate showdown, giving a good send-off to these courageous demon slayers. In case you missed it, Wolcen Lords of the Fallen offers players immersive gameplay and plenty of character customization. We're definitely sport for choice this month in terms of ARPG updates. We also got a peek of what's coming in the sequel to the third-person shooter Remnant 2. The developer Gunfire Games unveiled the new archetype that's coming called the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger can unleash a rain of bullets at a moment's notice. Remnant from the Ashes archetype system simply defined a player's starting loadout and initial traits lines. This will work quite differently in the sequel, as your initial archetype selection will dictate a few things such as perks and skills. These will grow in strength as you level individual archetypes, unlocking more features that play into the type's strengths. The skill system also revealed to have a major overhaul, particularly when it comes to the weapon mods. While still in the game, archetypes will now gain 3 specific skills unique to that type. Remnant 2 doesn't have a set release window yet, but it will be launching sometime this year. Hold on to your space helmets as Starfield has officially been announced to be releasing on September 6th. This is later than expected, as previously it was slated for the first half of this year, but now Bethesda has shared the announcement trailer, which unveils the new launch date. Along with the news is the announcement that a Starfield Direct will be coming this June 11th. An Xbox Game Showcase has been confirmed for the same day as well, so hopefully we're in for further announcements and reveals. The Starfield Direct is expected to reveal more about the sci-fi RPG. Here we may learn more about the Starfield universe, story, and characters. The announcement video does give a few more glimpses of the epic space journey. Here we see new locations and mysterious gateways to the unknown. The footage is still rather cryptic, but it's enough to gauge some intrigue. Starfield will be released on September 6, 2023 for PC and Xbox Series X and S, as well as Xbox Game Pass. In the meantime, drop by our Starfield Wiki for all your space adventure needs. Well, that's it for the week in the wikis. Please join us again next week for yet another great week of gaming. Remember to check out our VIP program for some exclusive supporter benefits. And budding writers should take advantage of our Become an Author initiative. Thanks again for being part of this great community. Keep checking in with us with news, reviews, YouTube streams and vids, and general wiki goodness.